Hey everyone, welcome to the Passion Intersect podcast. I always forget the name of my own podcast. Today's guest is Blair Sharp. I met her through LinkedIn and I I hate to do that, but I will ask you to introduce yourself. I know it's
It's okay.
complicated, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm Blair. I am from Minnesota, and I'm a freelance writer. And then I also work at the Mayo Clinic here in Rochester in the psych department. I administer thinking tests to patients. So
Wow,
fun
this is
stuff.
fun stuff and interesting stuff. So, do you
Yeah.
consider yourself multi-passionate, kind of polymath, whatever the word might be?
I don't know. I suppose I don't know. I feel like I don't think about that as much as I
Mm,
probably should. I feel like I'm a creator and I know that I'm creative. And so, but I feel like I need to like dig a little bit more into that. Um, yeah, I suppose I am. There's a lot of aspects of my
interesting.
life that I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig deeper into that. What
Sure.
was your like first discovery, first thing that you thought, "Oh, I love that, doing that." So, what was it the first thing?
Oh my gosh. Like ever? Like when I was a kid, you mean?
Yeah, let's start from there. And after
It
you
could be,
grow up
right?
and you still, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think for me, it's always been everything's like with people, right? Like even though it's
Mm,
weird that I feel like I'm an introvert, but like I feel like even when I was little, um, I'd like put on these shows. I was an only child, so maybe that's part of it. But like I would put on shows or I would make videos and just be really creative with that kind of stuff. But it was always with people. And then as I got older, all of my jobs have been with people too. And so like and kind of in the mental health psychology sort of, I mean, after high school, of course. But
hmm
working with people, so like people with like developmental disabilities and mental illness and things like that. Now I work in psych still. I'm writing now about mental health a lot and wellness, so it's all been like people oriented. All my jobs have been working with people, so I don't know if
Sounds
that's
great.
what you
Yeah.
asked though.
Yeah, kinda. So yeah, now that bring me to how did you discover like your love for writing, actually?
Yeah. So when I was younger, and I should probably ask my mom about this more, but when I was younger, I know I did a lot of writing just like for fun, and I would always like have a notebook and write in it and things like that. And then it's funny because when I went to college, I didn't really care about anything but like having fun in college. And so it's funny when people say like, "Oh, I did all this in college and I learned all this stuff." And I was like, I don't really like remember what I learned, you know? But so it's funny because there's a huge gap. Like there's a huge gap from like 18 to like 32. I'm 37.
Mm-mm.
Like 31 or 32 this gap where like I didn't write at all. Like I didn't do anything
Got it.
creative. It was just like having fun, hanging out with friends, going out, stuff like that. And then when I quit drinking in 2018, that's when everything came back. And it was like, oh, okay, I do like to do things, that aren't going out on the weekend or hanging out with my friends. So it's been kind of fun to learn about all those different things that I like to do now since then. So
Super
yeah,
interesting. So
yeah,
yeah, that bring me to my another question. I'm saying it
yeah.
kind of an interview, but I mean
That's
you're
okay.
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
So what made you realize you know what I want to quit drinking? What was it like the
Yeah.
light bulb or switch moment?
Well, that's a great question because there were a lot of moments where someone would say, "Oh, hey, maybe this thing is a problem. Like maybe when I got my DUI, I should have stopped drinking, or maybe when, I blacked out a lot and stuff like that." But
Mm,
it was never like an option. Like quitting drinking was never like one of the options, right? It was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just like make these rules around it, or like my husband would make rules around it. Until one day, so my son was 18 months old when I quit. And one day I read a blog, and it was about a mom who quit drinking, and she was writing about it. I looked her up. I heard her on a podcast. I like dove deep into her life and like learned all about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So like you can just quit drinking. Like it doesn't have to be this big moment like we think, you know, like on TV, like there's a big rock bottom moment or something. But yeah, it was just like another Monday where I was like super hungover, and I was like, I just like don't want to do this anymore, but like I don't know what to do. And it was just like, okay, you can just stop. And I was like, it was like kind of like I got the okay, because I reached out to that lady who wrote the blog actually online. Don't know her, stranger on the internet, reached out to her and wrote her this like big long blog basically, right? And then yeah, it was like 900 words, I think. And she was like, you can just not drink anymore. And I was like, oh, like that's all like I have to do, you know? Like obviously there's more to it, but like she like kind of gave me like the okay to like it's okay, just like don't drink anymore. And then of course do all these things like, you know, therapy or find your community and stuff. I didn't go to meetings or anything like that. I didn't go to rehab. But yeah, it was just kind of a light bulb, like you said, like it was just a random day where I just decided like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I haven't drank since. Like that was the day that I quit.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
it's a big turning point in your life, right?
yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
then, you people don't know, but me and Blair, this is our first time speaking on video,
yeah.
but I do remember my first interaction with you on LinkedIn. It was, I think, your second day on LinkedIn, and I
Was it?
found
I was trying
you.
to remember our first. I couldn't remember, but yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No problem. I remember it was on Justin Welsh
Mm,
post, and it was about, I think, quantity. I don't really recall the exact post,
yeah.
but anyway, I reached out to you. No, you reached out to me actually,
Did I?
to give me advice. Yeah, to give me
Oh
advice
yeah.
about like cold emails, I think. And
Okay.
yeah, that was the first time that someone was so kind. And
Yeah.
I wasn't used to it, especially in social
Yeah.
media. LinkedIn
Right.
is a great place, to be honest, but people are super needy, I'd say.
Yeah.
I put it like that. They
Yeah.
always just come to you for asking things.
Yes.
In the beginning it's great, but after, hey, 10 people per day asking for advice,
Right.
that's fucking
Right.
10 hours, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, I just felt like you were super genuine, and you were funny. You had what, 20 followers at
Yeah.
the beginning, and now
Yeah, right?
you obviously surpassed me. But
Yeah.
anyway, my point is, did you, like, what were the first accounts that you found on LinkedIn when you can come in, and how did you find them? Like, how did you do it? What was your
I have
I,
no idea. Like I
no
don't know. I
idea.
don't I always think about like what even brought me to LinkedIn, because I have been on Instagram for like a few years before that, and I was like
Hmm.
posting, you know, every day, and it was like a routine and everything. There was alcohol-free Instagram that I still have. I don't really go on there anymore. My followers are dropping like by the hundreds, which is fine. I'm not on there. It's I got to like 18,000, 18.6, I think, and now it's like
Wow.
18.2 or something. Yeah, yeah. So there's a big sober community on Instagram, and so it was fun for a couple of
Mm.
years, you know, making funny reels and talking about my life and everything, and giving people advice and supporting people. But somehow I must have found LinkedIn. Like I think I must have just like read somewhere that people were on LinkedIn creating over there, and like writers and stuff, and I was like, oh, so like I went over there, checked it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be, you know. But I
Hmm.
don't even remember. I think I just started following random accounts. I'm sure, like, yeah, like Justin Welsh. I'm sure I found out about him early. Matt Barker, I think, and Luke Matthews. But this is when like they were kind of like feuding to like see who could get the most followers. Those guys. I'm trying to think of Jasmine Alec. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
So I remember
Great
him.
one.
Yeah, I like him a lot. That was an account that I followed early on. Some of those people, yeah.
Yeah, pretty similar. Even me, like
Yeah.
I don't. I remember. You know what was crazy? It's because I remember the reason I remember everything is because of the
Yeah.
feeling associated with that
Yeah.
particular event. So I remember you because you made me feel, uh, I just felt like you were super genuine and super honest compared to all others.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
how I
I know
felt.
what you
So I
mean.
remembered you. And
Well,
then
good.
for Jasmine, I remembered him because the first post that I've seen from him was uh, he was talking about a project that he has, and he pitched for I think $20,000, and he got refused because he pitched himself too low.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the company was like they thought he would have been sending 100K proposal, and
Yeah.
that was yeah, I was like, damn, that's a great story. And anyway, he's
Right.
great for real. And I just made an intersection in my mind. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I think you were so successful in like building genuine relationship and so on is
Yeah.
because of your background for human relationships,
Yeah. Right. That
outside of
could be
social
it.
media.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, as you've seen, are struggling with building their personal brand. They don't
Oh, yeah.
understand how to do it, and they're forcing themselves to be genuine, authentic,
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever, because I think they came to from the side of consumers too much, so they
Yeah.
transitioned into like a savvy consumers, like reels, just reading,
Mm-hmm.
commenting, gossip, and then
Yeah.
when you try to transition into a creator, then you forgot how to be human in the first place, because humans aren't supposed to scroll
Right.
social media all day long,
Right.
right?
And then we
And
see these other people who are doing these things, and we're like, oh, okay, so I'm going to make a list like that guy does. Or like, I'm going to start making posts like that person. But it's like, no, make the post like you. That's what people want, you know?
yeah. So yeah, I want to dig deeper into that.
Yeah.
When you came, like your first post, I remember again, it was
Yeah.
like presenting, coming, I'm gonna start creating because
Yeah. Yeah.
this is and that, and you didn't care. Always saying that I'm a copywriter, I do this, I do that,
Yeah.
without like having to pitch. I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for gigs. That's what I want to
Right.
do. That's why I'm
Right.
here. And then like you don't hide behind it, and I
Right.
think that again many other creators, they think too much. So yeah, when I pitch, but then they read, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So for example, not saying like not pitching your services, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if that's what you're trying to do and you are trying to hide it, then it will still feel wrong. you
Right.
know so
Right.
what was your thought process?
Yeah.
Yeah, coming to LinkedIn, I understand it's for getting leads, but what was your thought process, if you can walk me through that?
Yeah. Um, so to start, like, so when I started on Instagram 2 years before LinkedIn, I was just there for fun. Like, I was just like posting about alcohol free, sober stuff because it was fun. It's something I'd like to talk about. So, no outcomes, like, no goals in mind. Turned out pretty well. I grew up to, 18,000 or whatever. Got some brand collabs, have a basement full of non alcoholic drinks that I've been shipped for free. um,
Wow.
and met tons of people, written for lots of great like brands, drink brands, things like that, mental health brands. Made a lot of great connections. And then when I came to LinkedIn, same thing. I didn't have any um, like goals. Like I didn't even need
Hmm.
clients. Like I was good. Like I was when I started looking for clients to actually write, a little bit more seriously and get regular clients, I reached out to somebody that I knew through Instagram, immediately got a client that is still my client, my main client. So I wasn't really there to get jobs, and I think that took the pressure off of it. Like I didn't have this like, oh my god, I need to like talk about like all the things I can do and like show my skills and all this stuff. And I was just there to have fun again. Like I was just there to like write because I just like to write. I like to just talk about whatever is coming to my mind, like in any given second.
Mm.
like, um, And so I think that's what's been really helpful, and it made it feel really easy for me, is that like I'm not going into it with like I need to sell or I need to like get work or whatever. It's just like, and that just stuff is like a bonus for me. You know what I
Got
mean?
it. Got it. Yeah, yeah,
Because that has
totally, totally.
happened. I have gotten leads through there. I've gotten jobs through there. I've made good connections. And I think connections, I was gonna post about this, but I haven't yet. I think connections are like 1,000 times better than leads, because like you get a
Mm.
lead, great. You get a lead, you get a job, right? Money is good and everything. But like you get a connection, and like you could get like 10 leads from that connection because that person knows this person and that person. And I've had that like where people are like, "Oh, I met Blair and I know she does this, so I'm going to refer this person to her," or whatever, like, um, so when I make a really good connection with somebody where I'm like, oh, this could be, and I'm not even like thinking about it, like, how can I use that person? But it's just like, oh, wow, this is a really good connection. I'm just like being myself. And then turns out they know this person that I didn't even know about, So I don't know. It's just, I didn't have a goal in mind, but it's always been more like, okay, now it's grown. Like I didn't even like go on there to try to get followers. Like I didn't even know anything about LinkedIn, right? So everything's been like little by little, multiple banners. I've gone through multiple banners, headlines, and trying to change things. And so it's just been kind of fun. And now that I have like, 5,000 or whatever followers and all these people, I started a newsletter, right? So like then I'm going to hopefully eventually make some digital products and things like that, and try to build like this brand, which I in September, and what, like 7 months ago, like had no plans to do any of that. But now since I'm in it, I'm like, this is kind of fun. Like I love creating this stuff and like talking about it. Sorry, don't worry about my dog back there.
Sorry.
It's distracting.
Yeah, all
But yeah,
good.
so I think that's like, so it's hard to, when someone's like, oh, like this isn't working, or like I'm not growing and I need to get jobs, and I'm like, oh, I can't relate. Like it's hard for me to give advice because like that wasn't ever my thing. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, that's super super exciting. That's what's
Yeah.
exciting actually about the personal branding journey. And I was in the
Mm-hmm.
kind of dark side where I was, I was hoping for my brand to bring me client. That's
Yeah.
that's why it didn't felt right with me. Writing all the time about branding, Shopify, whatever that might be for a
Yeah.
super long
Right.
time, and then you know it just didn't feel right. Anyway, when me personally, when I've seen your content, I was inspired, and actually your tips helped me with like with cold emails. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I was so absorbed that I forgot to thank you in the DMs,
Oh
but
yeah.
I
You're
remembered, yeah.
welcome.
And yeah,
Good.
listen. And when I understood that when you fix your kind of quote unquote money problem outside of your personal brand, then you can like document the whole thing at the end of the day. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And people love that.
And yeah, exactly. The From the moment I shifted my content creation like kind of topics around
Mm-hmm.
kind of my life per se, then I made so many new connections, like genuine connections that can
Yeah.
like bring me leads, that like you're saying, without even having to talk about my job.
Right. 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 That's the thing. And I don't know, it's hard because I think people do get stuck in between like, okay, but I want to talk about what I do so that potential clients can see it. But it's like, if potential clients go to your LinkedIn page, it's basically like a landing page, right? So they go and they see it, they see what you're posting. Like if they just like your vibe and that you're a good writer, even just in posts about your dog or cheese or whatever, like they're still gonna want you to write for them. It's not you saying, here are the 5 things that I do best when I'm working with a client, which that's great. I've done that. I've also done that, but it's like it's hard to know what direction to go. So it is hard. And when you see other people growing and you're like, well, why am I not growing? And it's obviously this
Yeah.
competition thing. It's hard to get away from that. And we all get stuck in like metrics too, like, right? Like I try not to look at the metrics, but they're right there. Like they're right, like why are they
Yeah.
there in my face? Like I want to be able to click on it if I want it, not here's how many impressions you've had, or here's your is my is my arrow green or red today? Like, I don't really care because like I know that I'm getting a ton of engagement, but like it's just like, why is it there? Take it away. I don't want it there. But it's
Yeah,
another
but
topic.
you had some pretty not decent, like more than decent results per se,
Yeah.
especially in the time frame that you were active on LinkedIn. But how did
Yeah.
you was able, like you were able to define your priorities? For example, engaging or
Right.
creating content at the end of the day.
Well, from the start, when I started posting, I was like, I'm going to post every day. So I have been posting every day since September, the end of September, which is what, 7 months? Is that 7 months?
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. I mean, I didn't post on Sunday. Like some days I just don't. Like most of the time it's like a Sunday. But I knew that being social on social media was important. So you can't just post and then think people are just going to come look at your posts. Like people don't know who you are. So that's the importance of like getting out and commenting on other people's posts and connecting with people. And you know, when someone would send me a connection request, I sent them a DM every time, almost like saying like, hey, looking forward to, you know, hearing more about what you do and things like that. And then that could start a conversation that sends a little hint to LinkedIn that you guys are, you know, friends and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just being myself in the comments, being funny, which is just natural. Like I don't really try too hard. Which is another thing that like is hard for some people because some people just aren't naturally like witty
Funny.
or funny or right. Like, and not anything against anyone, but like my husband on social media, no, he would be like a dud. Like he does not post on social media. So I'm imagining him like wanting to be like a
Build a
influencer or
personal brand.
something. Yeah, build a personal brand. And he'll be one of those like cool post, bro, you know, or something like it wouldn't work. So like there's something to that, I think. And it's not like
Mm-hmm.
something you can really like teach people, but everybody can
I
find
agree.
their crowd, right? Like everybody can find people. It's just like the world. We find our friends, we find, you know, people, and now with the internet, we can find our group, you know, across the globe and across countries. So
Correct. Yeah,
yeah,
that's funny. That's funny in a way that yeah, not everyone is funny. That's for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
We're
like
just like
we.
relatable and like you know, I have, like I said on Instagram, I've been like sharing my entire life story about drinking and like how, you know, what I did when I was drinking. Like, so I was already used to like just saying whatever I felt like, or just
Mm-hmm.
saying. And so that's another hard part, is like people have a hard part like getting personal and things like that. And it's like, oh, well, my whole life is already on the internet, so whatever. Like I don't care,
But
you know?
now you start to pivot it toward more like kind helping people with your newsletter.
Yeah.
It's kind of about the topic personal branding, right? But more
Mm-hmm.
being human,
Yeah.
sharing relatable things, and I think it's a
Right.
key factor in attracting like a genuine audience. Me,
Yeah.
I'm more active on Twitter than LinkedIn. LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I'm super lazy there, just like
Yeah. And I'm
screenshot
like not on Twitter.
post.
Like I tried Twitter for like 2 weeks and then I was like, nah, not into it. I quit again. I
Yeah.
mean, it's there. I posted it like a couple days ago, but like it's the same post that I posted on LinkedIn. I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I'll.
vice versa, right?
Yeah, right. Yours is the other way. Yeah. So I mean, whatever. To each their own. I think it's like good to have like one thing you do like really well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, the thing is we see these big successful people and they're on every platform, but they also have like a team of people to do all of that. Like for one
Mm-hmm.
person who also like has a job and a freelance writing business and a child and a husband, you know what I mean, and likes to like relax and not work 24/7, like it's hard to do all these things. So like do one thing really well, and mine's just LinkedIn right now. So and my newsletter, you know,
Definitely.
that's kind of tied, but yeah. And yours is Twitter,
Why
right?
didn't you like Twitter actually? What did you like about it?
I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I get
Okay, that's
it.
the
Like I
only.
guess. I don't know. Like it's just so busy, I feel. I don't
Oh
know what
yeah.
it is. I feel like I like the way I can write out a post. I mean, I know I can do like a thread on Twitter, but like, I don't know. I'm just like, I like LinkedIn better. I just stay there. And it's like not
I,
worth it to me to like try to grow over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't
but
know.
what made you come to Twitter in the first place to try it out? Actually.
Because I was like, okay, I should be on Twitter too, right? Because like
Oh, okay.
writers are on Twitter, and like I have this newsletter now, and so I wanted to like promote it and that kind of stuff. So I was like, I might as well have a place. You know, I've always had a Twitter. Um, Never really been on it, but I had it because a lot of writing gigs get you know, editors and stuff post on Twitter, and so like I was on these newsletters, so to see the post I would need a Twitter, so I got a Twitter account. um my dog is whining again, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, so I don't know, just not my thing. And then who knows, what Twitter might blow up someday, so who knows. Like I just feel like
Definitely.
I always see it in the news, like Twitter this and that, and it's a dumpster fire. And I was like, well, I'm not really into dumpster fires, so I'll just stick with LinkedIn for now.
Yeah, like I mean, me personally, I quitted LinkedIn because of
Yeah,
particular, the meaningful common things, because I felt like I was forcing myself. I didn't want to do that anymore, and it felt like it
yeah,
was the only way to grow there. That's what I like
yeah,
everyone was saying, like meaningful comment, meaningful comment, meaningful comment. I was
yeah,
like, no, no, thanks. Twitter
yeah,
was more easy to navigate for me per se,
yeah,
but I don't know if I would say the same thing if I had like prior success the same way
right,
I'm having it on Twitter than on LinkedIn. You know what I mean?
true,
And it's because I started creating content around my services on LinkedIn. So all like the first followers were really just for my services. It's so like now I'm
yeah,
starting from scratch per se, and there's no much engagement, no more traction because I'm not leaving meaningful
yeah.
comments.
Right, right.
This
Yeah,
is
you got to be on
understandable.
there. Like you have
Hmm.
to, whatever you're choosing, you have to really like put energy into it. And so like I don't have
Yeah,
time for more than one. Like I barely have time for LinkedIn at this point. You know what I mean? Um I don't, yeah, I only have time to keep up with like one thing. Plus you got
yeah,
your
totally.
emails, like I mean it's just
Yeah,
like plus work, you know,
I
it's just
know.
hard. So I when I always see these like big creators and like all they talk about their success, and I just want to be like, do you have a child though? Like it's like it seems so, you know what I mean? Like it seems so easy. Do you have kids?
No,
You
I
don't have
don't.
kids. Yeah.
I don't. I don't.
So like there's so you have so I hate when people use their kid as an excuse. So I'm not doing that, but like honestly, there's so much more time when you don't have a child. Right? Like if I didn't have a
Definitely.
kid, when I got home at 4:30, I would have from 4:30 until I went to bed to do whatever I wanted. Right? Like
Yeah.
I don't have that. So like I have to carve out the time. And so again, that's just why I had to pick just one. I thought like, okay, maybe you should go to YouTube, like because people are on YouTube and that's like a big thing now, right? Like video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what I would talk about. I did a lot of reels and stuff on Instagram, so like that was more like fun and like trending and stuff. But oh, I'm not really interested in learning all the video stuff. Really, I'm more just let me write some stuff down and I'm good. So and that's
me
okay if it
personally,
works, right?
yeah, definitely. And I agree with you. Me, like, yeah, I don't have kids. I don't have like big responsibilities. Only like
Yeah,
the bills, But
right.
my freelance business, it's not that busy. Just I have two clients at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
ongoing projects, and then in the future, same like one clients per
Yeah,
month, and I'm good. I don't need more,
yeah.
and that allowed me to work 2 days per week on the project,
Oh,
and then
yeah. That's so nice.
you know yeah, and I don't want more. Like I want to transition into full-time content
Right.
creation,
Mm-hmm.
and if that means no more no more not additional freelance project, then it's good. And it's not like I have that many inbounds at the end of the day,
Right. Right.
but
Yeah.
building the personal brand is bringing those clients. And
Yeah.
for me, the newsletter was a big thing from the beginning. Like I feel like it was the reason why I
Come here.
was able to create all that content
Yeah.
and even start like the YouTube channel at the end of the day. So it was.
Yeah. Your newsletter is good.
Thank you.
Like you're a really good
Yours
writer.
too.
You're a better writer than I am, I think. We're
No,
different. We're
that's
different.
That's too far than a compliment. I can't accept it. So, sorry.
We're different. We're different. You're probably not going to be writing about
Mm,
like I don't even know what I write about. Just like literally what comes in my head. Like it's
even me,
obnoxious.
that's exactly what I started. Like, I
Yeah.
switched my content strategy from the beginning. I didn't want to have a niche per se. This is like
Yeah.
a very controversial
Oh, it
topic.
is. Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna niche down. You don't even like if you follow me on Twitter, you don't
Hmm.
know what I'm gonna talk about. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know
And
what is my
if
upcoming
it's a
newsletter.
good point of view, then what it doesn't matter, right? I mean, people still want to listen to you because it doesn't matter. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to have your your opinion because you responded to my tweet about your perspective is your niche, and it looks
Yeah.
like I blew your mind. So you tell me more about
Well,
that.
because people always say like the big thing too is like, who's your target audience, right? And my answer to that is whoever reads my posts. Like
That's a
that's
great
my
one.
audience. That's my audience because like it's true, like especially for writers, right? Like for writers or any of this content creation stuff, like anyone could need that. It doesn't mean, I mean, okay, there are some people that like just write to writers, right? Because they're a writing coach or something like that, or like it's very
Mm-mm-mm.
specific. But like again, it's with the leads, like, and the connections. Like you never know who's watching and who's reading and who's liking what you're putting out there and where that could lead. So like yeah, so if, like I said, if people like your perspective, then that's your niche, right? Like your niche is just being you. Cool.
Yes, correct.
that's my
That's.
new that's my niche now.
I think your niche now. You know, every time that I read the word relatable, and I think
Yes.
of you now. You see,
Good.
and
That's my mind game, the mind games I'm playing. So just kidding.
amazing. I felt into it.
I
I
just
felt
think
into it.
it's funny because I did an alcohol-free newsletter, when I got
Mm-hmm.
on the Instagram. That makes me feel like a grandma. Um and so that like grew really fast and it was called Relatable AF, like relatable
Mm.
alcohol
That's
free,
for.
right?
Oh wow! Okay,
Alcohol
I
free, yeah, yeah.
thought.
It was like a play on words. Yes, yeah, yeah. I know you were going there. But so because people have always been like, "Oh my God, you're so relatable! Like, all your content is so relatable. Your story is so relatable. The way you tell your story is so relatable. Like all this stuff, the way you talk, everything." I'm like, "Oh, okay, relatable. Yeah, whatever." So I did that for like 4 months. I got up to like 600 subscribers in like 4 months.
Wow.
It's pretty good. But I didn't have anywhere to go with it. It was like, okay, yeah, do I want to talk about sober stuff the rest of my life? Not really. Like, I want to talk about other stuff. So then when I got on LinkedIn, yeah. So then when I got on LinkedIn, excuse me, my dog is just like something. Come here.
Mm,
Come on,
no
come on.
problem.
He's chewing a bone now behind me, so I can't put it back. Oh, you can edit. Okay.
No,
Sorry.
I will leave that like that. It's casual. It's casual. You know,
That's
we
fine
keep
too.
the
Like I'm
dog.
fine. It's relatable. It's
Yes,
relatable.
it is.
So yeah, so then when so it's funny because before the relatable stuff on LinkedIn, I was going to make like you were saying, people just like come into your DMs and just ask so many questions. And it's like, oh my gosh, it takes so long to answer and go back and forth. Because I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to make like a LinkedIn course, just like a little one. So I can just be like, well, here's how I did it. Or, here's my roadmap for freelance writers, like these things that people were asking me all the time about. So I was going to do
Mm-hmm.
that first. And then, they always say, like, get an email list, get an email list. You don't own your followers, get an email list, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I need to do that. I need to get this newsletter going. And then I read on somebody else's newsletter. I can't remember who it is now. But it's a newsletter, I think, about newsletters.
Okay.
And the guy was like, when you're deciding what you're going to talk about, like talk about something you could talk about all the time, or just like what you're kind of like known for. What do people think about? And I didn't want to write a cheese newsletter, but what are you known for? Like, yeah, I think I would get a little, that would get a little old to me. But yeah, so I was like, oh my God, relatable, like being relatable in general is just like, it's very wide. And so like in my head, it makes sense. And that's really all that matters. Like, like I was telling my friend, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to just like have the brand be about being relatable, like in general, because that can be like with anyone online. It doesn't have to just be with writers or marketing. It can just be like anyone that just wants to be online and be like a presence or, show up online. So, and I already kind of had the email template. I use pretty much the same email template, just changed words and stuff for what I did with my last one. And yeah, it's been fun. So
Amazing. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
now like you didn't box yourself in like a
yeah,
copywriter thing kind of stuff,
right.
and you did that great from the beginning. Especially that brings me to cheese.
Speaking of cheese,
Speaking of cheese, because the first time that I've seen your name on LinkedIn, you didn't have the emoji
right?
cheese from the
No, I
beginning,
didn't.
right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy how I remember those things. I swear, like I
I
don't know
know you have
how.
a really good memory. It's probably because you don't have a kid. It's probably because you don't have a kid. Just kidding. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna
I
do
will
that. But yeah,
remember
you're good.
every small things I make my kid will do in the
Yeah, you
future.
will
I'm gonna
actually.
call them back. But yeah, after like when I've seen your name again, that's why I remember. Actually, is because when I've seen your name again, I've seen your cheese emoji, and I was
Yeah,
like, she didn't have a cheese emoji, and now she has
yeah.
one. So now I clicked on you, and then I've seen your post presentation. Back then you didn't have your branding. I will get into that in a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
but yeah, please talk to me more about cheese. Like what did that come from?
Please
Why do
talk
you
to me
love
more about
cheese?
cheese.
Yes, I love
Okay,
cheese.
so I'm from the Midwest. So, I'm in Minnesota. We're right next to Wisconsin. Cheeseheads. I just love cheese. Cheese is like so good. I have cheese every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. It's a
Yes.
staple in my family. Like my son loves cheese. Now, my husband is actually lactose intolerant, so he doesn't eat cheese, which
Oh.
means more for me. Um, and um, I don't know. I think I just like joke about cheese all the time. Like even in my regular life, like people just like I just make a joke about cheese, like how much I love it, or like let's make sure we get cheese and things like that, right? And so it's always been like a thing that I've been associated with. And then I was talking to, I don't know, do you know Attila? I think that's how you say his name. Muth. I
No.
believe he's in Hungary. But he and I connected really early on LinkedIn as well. And he was like giving me all these tips about like, you need to change your header to this. You need to change this, try this with your header. And we were like, headline, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like giving me tips on like how to word things. And he's like, you need to put a cheese emoji next to your name. And I was like, I had thought about that. I did think about it before he mentioned it, and I was like, I don't know, is that like not professional, like whatever. But then like, am I here for professional? Like I have a job, like I'm not here to like get a corporate job, right? Like
Yeah.
And so then I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So then I put the cheese emoji next to my name, and so now it's like this thing. And I didn't even think about like my last name being Sharp, like Blair Sharp, and
Yeah.
then there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
cheese
Yeah. Yeah.
emoji, and then someone's like, "Oh my god, sharp cheddar!" Like I always think about you, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that." But yeah. So now I feel like I can't take it down. I feel like it has to be there.
It has to
Um,
be.
yeah, and so I did start doing like a cheese series. Like every Sunday, I would write a story about cheese. But I'm really bad at like things like that where I say it's funny because I can post every day, but like if I'm like I need to write this topic on this day every day of the every Sunday or whatever, I quit. Like I end up quitting. So like I did the cheese story. I did a cheese story every Sunday for like maybe 4 weeks or 5 weeks or something, and then I didn't have a story. Like I didn't have one for one day, and then I was like,
Mm.
screw it, I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. So I just stopped. Um,
Amazing.
it was fun for a little bit, but yeah, and so like I try to infuse cheese every so often, but also like it's not even like on purpose. Like I just like actually like cheese. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not me trying to
Force it.
a part of it is obviously for fun, like to put it out
Mm-hmm.
there, but it is true. I do love cheese.
So, do you consider cheese to be one of your passion?
Oh, that would have been a good answer to your question. I should have just said cheese, right? When you asked in the beginning,
Right?
that would
Because
have been a good
now,
answer.
the way you're speaking about cheese is like you're passionate about cheese, and I'm the same.
That's
I
true.
never thought of it.
Uh,
No, and now to think of it, I'm passionate about cheese as well. Like my father is. It's because of my father that
yeah.
I love cheese like that. He always called me to tell me, "Yo, there's a special blah blah blah. Tell price. Go
Oh my
go go
gosh, I
buy the
love
cheese."
that.
And he
I
wanted me to
love
buy the
that.
cheese. So he just bought me 4 pack of cheese, Gouda
Yeah.
cheese, and
Yes.
yeah, that's one of my selfish reasons actually to make a lot of money in the future. It's to
Mm-hmm.
buy expensive cheese, like
Yes.
old age cheese,
Right.
and like never
Right.
worrying about the price. I want
Right.
that. That would be amazing.
That's true. My friend, there's a guy that I connected with early on LinkedIn. Again, his name is Daniel Wolfsong. I don't know if you know him, but I don't think he's very active
No.
anymore. But he was telling a story like you just well, not maybe like really expensive, but like just buy the expensive cheese. Like life is too short. Like that was his thing. Like he had a story like that. He heard, he listened to me talk about cheese, and then it made him think that. But you should treat yourself to expensive cheese more often. Maybe you do. But
Oh, I do,
okay,
1000%.
good.
I
I don't. I
do.
just like buy the average cheese. I should buy the expensive cheese, but I just feel like if it's only
Mm,
me eating it, then I don't know. Can I eat it fast enough?
uh, I hate regular cheese. Like,
Do
there's a brand
you?
here in Quebec. It's called
Yeah.
Quebon. Quebon. It's
Okay.
like Quebec, and bon means good. This is like a play
Oh,
word.
okay. Yeah.
And their cheese feels like plastic.
Yeah.
It's like I'm eating plastic, and I'm like, no, never again. It was like making me hate cheese. So instead, I
Yeah.
don't know if you know the brand Castillo. It's like
I
a kind
think
of a
so.
it's like kind of an eagle phoenix merges together. Their
That
cheese
sounds
is
familiar.
so good. Like it's
Yeah.
insane,
Yeah.
insane, especially for like square cheese for burgers, like with
Yeah.
pepper and a lot of that's just
Yum.
insane.
Now I'm
Anyway,
hungry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I did a detox cheese from a detox from cheese in Ramadan,
Oh
because like
yeah.
it's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy and so on. But cheese everywhere. Like that's my snack with
Yes.
cucumbers, with strawberries as well.
Yep.
Like
Grapes,
the yeah, grapes. I don't know how
apples,
to say it in English. Uh, it's white and it's creamy inside. What is the name for that?
like a cheese.
Yeah, it's a cheese. It's like white with a kind of a straw. It's kind
It's
of
not like not mozzarella.
no. It's brie something
Mascarpone.
like
Oh, brie. Yes, brie is like my
it's brie.
fave.
Brie, okay, it's brie. Yeah, it's brie. My goodness,
Yes.
brie with maple syrup and other, like, I don't know how to call them.
Oh, like walnuts.
Yes, yes. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, yes.
Yeah, that's
One
good.
of my
Or like
favorites.
with green grapes. Yes, rice crackers. I like rice crackers with my
Yes, yes, yes,
cheese.
yes.
Yeah.
Those are
You could
my
go
my
on and
go
on.
to snack. Yeah, yeah, my go to snack.
I'll have
Like
that for like a
it's
meal
just
though. It's probably not good. I probably should eat like more protein with that. But like
oh
I'll just eat that with the
the
meat for a
brie.
meal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1000% brie. Brie is
Yeah.
like a meal. I use it as a starter, appetizer per se. Like the
Yeah. There you go.
smaller one. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
amazing with
So
bread and
good. I
garlic.
had no
Oh
idea
my
you're
god.
such a cheese fan.
Oh yeah, I am. Like if I had all the money in the world, like my money
Yeah.
will go into cheese, good food, and fragrance.
Oh,
That would be
okay.
my
Okay. Yeah, I
that
do
would be
love food.
my
Food
go
is like
to.
a yeah. I love good food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my personal brain will serve to that purpose.
Yeah.
For starter,
Yeah, right.
for starter, I tweeted actually. That would bring me to my other question. It's just all related.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted about like me personally. I think that it's important to start your personal brand or like your business, whatever that might be, for
Mm-hmm.
selfish reasons in the beginning. Otherwise, you can like keep up. If you're doing it for someone else, I don't think
Yeah.
you can keep up. And that's we can compare it to another situation. I want to give it as well to just put it into perspective. When there's people, I was one of them. You respect your promise to other people, but you don't with yourself. Like going to the
Mm,
gym,
true.
journaling, meditating, whatever that might be. I never broke one of my promises to like real people, real people. I say
Right,
real people,
right. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
friends, family.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke my like promise for myself so many times, up until a
Yes.
point where like I was fed up with that. That's the turning point. I never quit gym again. Never, like when I said I do something, I do it.
Yep.
And when it comes to personal branding, if you don't do it for selfish reasons, then from the moment, for example, okay, I'm gonna build a personal brand for my mom, and then, for example,
Yeah.
I just got into an argument with my mom, and she doesn't speak with me for 2 weeks just because I
Mm-hmm.
did something bad, for example. And then
Okay.
what I'm gonna think, okay, my personal brand, I did it for my mom. I'm not gonna do it anymore. That's just
Right.
like
Right.
a big,
Right.
big example. And so I thought of it, and I was like, I'm gonna start my personal brand for selfish reasons. Like, really, I want to buy cheese. Is just another edition now, but
Yeah.
it was around gym, going to the gym whenever I like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I feel like it. I can stay
Yep.
5 6 hours. Buying groceries without looking at the price,
Yep.
going to
Yep.
expensive restaurants without having to look at the price on the menu. Just
Yeah.
like, give me that, give me that, give me that, give
Right.
me that.
Yeah.
And after you have selflessness or selfless reasons, well,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that might be, for your family,
Yep.
friends, people, the
Mm-hmm.
audience, obviously. And then that personally helped me keep up like every single day. Like I have my goals,
Right. And you've
and
like promised to yourself. Yeah.
yeah, that I won't break for 1000%. How about you?
It's
What do you
hard
think about that?
to like keep that in mind sometimes. I think, are you full time like writing, or do you have a like a day job too? Can't
I
remember.
don't have a day job. I never had a nine to
Like a
five
nine to
job.
five? Oh.
Never ever.
Yeah, for me it's like well, I'm starting to like get the taste of that now, and I'm like, this is why people do this, like because I've
Mm,
been at Mayo Clinic in my position for 9 years, and it's in
wow.
a room that does not have a window,
Wow.
and I'm sitting. I get up and go for walks or whatever, and I go outside and I see places that have windows, right? Like I'm not stuck in a cubicle or anything, but yeah, it's a lot. I never really like, it's like you don't know unless you know, right? So like I dip my toe in with writing over the last few years. And then finally about 7 months ago, I said, I'm gonna try to find like actual clients and like do it for work. So ever since then I've really like got the taste of that freedom and like, doing the work when I want to do it. And maybe on days I don't feel like it, I just don't do work because I do everything like ahead of time. Like I need to have things done before they're due. So like I have that in place. But yeah, there's just so much freedom. And then with the personal branding stuff, it just compounding onto that, right? Like it's just like, how can I take what I have? Clearly people like it, like how can I put this in a box and make money off of it? That's what it is, right? Like to try to like make a course, or I don't know, better name for that, but like, monetize whatever. But it's hard because you don't want to feel like you're doing like you're in it for the money. I'm just in it to like make a living, right? And then like I don't need to be rich. I mean, I would like nice cheeses, but I just want to pay my bills, and then be able to have that freedom where you're like at home, you can go for a walk in the middle of the day whenever you want. You don't have to tell someone that you're going to need to take PTO or whatever it is. Um, yeah, so I've had a little taste of that recently. And I've been working part-time hours since January. I mean, like all year I've been working part-time hours at my day job, which has been so nice. And then just recently we had somebody quit. So now in like May and probably June, I'll have to be working a lot more than I'm used to this year so far. So um, we'll see how it goes. But now it's like even more almost of a push for me to get this branding stuff going and like, what can I do? So I'm trying to do a little bit more strategizing of that. Because now it's
Got
for
it.
me, right? Like it's like I've had that. It's maybe this is a good thing for me actually, because I've had that like taste of like being home and like working from home. And I am going to drop to part time whenever we get these new people hired. So like in a few months, I'm dropping to part time, but it might even be a little bit more of a push to get that branding stuff going, like my personal brand, business wise going. You know, I still don't
Yeah.
really know what that looks like, but we'll see.
I feel like I told you,
Yeah,
you'll be like an amazing teacher. You're funny. You
I
explain things
know.
well.
I just have
Yeah,
like
you
I
have to
have
own
like
it.
imposter syndrome with that because I feel like people are gonna be like, I don't know, just like I feel like I don't know enough. Like I feel like I just like give my opinion. You know
My
what I mean?
goodness,
Like,
yeah. Opinion,
can I just sell
opinion
my
is
opinion?
enough. Yeah,
Can I
you
just
can.
could I monetize my opinions? That would be
One thousand
amazing.
percent. One
But
thousand
I guess that's
percent.
what it is, you know, when you have like a one-on-one like consult with somebody, like you tell them your business problems and they tell you here's what I would do or here's what I did or whatever. That's like when I go on these podcasts, I'm like, just so you know, I'm not like a personal branding expert. I just talk about what I did and what worked for me, which I think people really like. We don't always want to be like taught by like these
Yeah.
big gurus all the time and like, you know,
Yes.
like somebody
Yes.
that's charging $3,000 for like a 2 day course or something like, you know. So I would never, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine asking people to pay that, but people do and people buy
Imagine
it.
just like, yeah, 1000%. But I mean, you going from zero. You have how many followers you have now? 5,000.
Yeah, like 5,700 or something like that, I think. I'm on my way
My
to
goodness.
six soonish. Yeah.
I mean, you just, this conversation can be sold for twenty
Yeah,
five
right.
dollars.
We should monetize this conversation.
I mean, it's
Uh,
it's you have like, I think you have 100K dollars right there. Like
yeah.
that's like a Danko saying 100K in your head, whatever that might be. But I mean, you
Yeah.
can like create a course right now, like how I went from 0 to 5,000, being
Right.
funny, being
I know, but
relatable.
can I just write being funny and talk about cheese?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean,
Oh,
there will be a
yeah.
lot of people buying your stuff. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like
I
I,
appreciate that. I feel like you're not the only person that said that, so that should be a sign. That should be a sign for
I'm not
me.
the only one for sure. Like, I
Yeah.
assume I'm not the only one.
No, no, no.
So,
I'm saying, yeah, you're not. You're not. Other people are like, you need to do
mm,
this and that. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. Working on it. I'm working on it.
no,
I'm meeting with someone this
one
week again, a friend that knows more about strategy and stuff than I can maybe get some insight
awesome.
from. So that's good. So it's a work in progress. It's just the time, you know?
Imagine, even like, just to give you a quick
Yeah.
context. I have 600 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
Instagram, I don't care. I have 600, but there, but
Yeah.
that's irrelevant for me. And I'm building my digital product right now. Like, I don't care about followers
Yeah.
count.
Right.
And you can hear, kind of, don't monetize too early, whatever that might be. But like, I'm really solving a problem right there. So why would I wait?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and there's a lot of people who has this problem of not being relatable. So if you are solving this problem actually with your content already.
Yeah.
So it's just you're packing it together, and then
Right.
it's valuable. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
It's always the
Yeah.
I always say to myself, if I don't have an answer for the question why not, then you do it. So you
That's
question
true. But I can
why
always
not.
find a reason not to do it.
Give me a reason, or why not should
Well,
you
no,
just
okay.
create
It's
a course
not the
right
why
now.
not. It's just that when I have spare time, my immediate thought is like the client work that I have to do. So I think
Mm,
that, you know, like after we're done talking here, I have a couple hours before I have to go to the gym. I'm a gym person now. It's my fourth week. It's
Yes.
my fourth week ever at the gym this week.
Congrats.
Hey, go me. And I love it. Like, why was I not going? I don't know.
Do you feel more creative right now because of the gym? Have you not like
I don't know if I
take
felt that
notes?
yet.
Maybe you're
I feel
just not aware
good.
yet. Yeah, you feel good,
I'm
right?
still like sore all the time. But it's like, what
That's
the heck? I'm
normal.
getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym before work. What?
that's
Who is
that's
that? Who
amazing.
is that person? I'm thinking about going tomorrow, even though I'm off tomorrow. I'm thinking about going at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Why not? And it's now that I told you that, I think that you're gonna become aware of
The
your
why
new
not?
superpower, the why not, and the creativity. And like, you
Yeah,
do
I
you do cardio,
should.
or do you only do like weightlifting? What do
No,
you
I
do
do
in the
everything.
gym?
Well, right now I'm in this program where like I get like all these personal trainer sessions and then all these group
Mm-hmm.
training sessions. So I've been doing like at least 2 of those a week. And then I
Hmm.
do like cardio and random weight stuff now that I kind of know what I'm doing.
And you
So,
told me that you take, so you walk as well.
yeah, I
Do you
mean,
take
I
walks?
was just doing like a couple walks a day, but now I'll do like the treadmill and I'll walk more like if I'm at work then because I don't really have
Hmm.
another choice, right? So like I'll walk there a couple times a day, but yeah, I mean, I took me until 37 to realize that I should probably move my body. I just have like a high metabolism. I know we're getting off track now. I have a just high metabolism. So like I'm thin and I've always been like tall and thin. So there really hasn't been a reason for me besides the fact that I just like hurt because I'm sedentary. That was a
Mm.
good reason. But like then I just decided like I need to do something. And turns out I like it. And
Awesome.
then with my
That's a
personality,
great thing.
I go all in on it, you know? So that's good. It's a good thing to go all in on though. But as far as I don't remember what we were talking about, but I was going to say after this, I will have a couple hours, right, to do some writing, and then I have all day tomorrow. My thought is like, okay, I need these blogs done by this day, so I need to work on those. And I think I just need to be better about like, okay, you have to work on that, but also like for an hour, work only on the personal brand stuff or only on the course or only on the ebook or whatever it is that you know you're making. Like I think I just need to be more intentional about the time. So
Got it, got it. Yeah, definitely. That's something.
yeah.
I mean, do you think that you told me like you have your day job,
Yeah.
like, are you willing to quit if opportunities come to you? Like, yeah, no.
Well, it depends on what the opportunity is. Reality TV, sure, I'd quit in a second. In a
Oh
second.
my god.
I'm gonna try to be on Big Brother. That's my goal. Do you watch that?
Big Brother?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I watch French reality TV show actually.
Oh, okay. Well, they have it in they have Big Brother Canada and they have Big Brother all over, I think. But anyways, the people live in the house and then you vote each other off and you win money at the end. Anyways, so
Yeah.
it's like my favorite show.
Oh, so you really want to go there? Yeah, with your personal
Yes.
brand, you could.
Yes,
You
right. That's the
could.
goal. That's the goal. So, anyways, yes. I mean, it depends on the opportunity. I'm not a risky person. I'm not
Mm.
this Blair is not a risky person. 25-year-old Blair, very risky, very dangerous. But like I've been saving up lots of money, you know, right now when I've been working and doing the freelance writing. So I'm saving all that writing money to have this cushion for slow months, you know. I don't
Mm-hmm.
envision there being slow months, but it's a possibility. So I would need to really I wouldn't quit without having something there.
Got
And
it.
I would need to
Got it.
weigh out like, okay, retirement. Like I need to plan about retirement. You know, my husband has insurance, so I can get on his insurance, but like retirement, savings, life insurance, all that kind of stuff. I would like to that needs to be like squared away first. But if I can make
Got
this
it.
part-time thing work at my day job, like if I could work 2 10-hour days a week and have 3 days at home, I think that would be ideal. So like that's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah, I
We'll
wish that
see.
for you. 1000%.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have another good conversation about Blair's life updates
Right.
and Blair's
Right.
going to Big Brothers. Actually, I just remembered that
Yeah.
the French version of Big Brothers is called Secret Story, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that
Yeah,
people like
but
all
I
live in a
never.
house together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, gossiping and trying to find the secret of another one. Is that it?
Oh, okay. No, they just live and then they have like challenges every week and then they like like someone gets voted out every week and whoever is at the end, they win money. But there is like
Yeah, no,
social, like
secret.
it's like a social game, but it's similar, probably just because they live in the house together. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
hectic. It's
interesting.
hectic. Secret
Yeah.
stories like every one of them has a secret, and then the other participants
Oh,
try to find it. And
okay.
there's a lot of people like they're odd secrets. I never watched
Yeah.
it fully, but
Interesting.
yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Me personally, I love gossips. That's odd, but I
Yeah.
love sometimes to see gossips. That's funny, just funny for the sake of laughing. I love
Yep.
to laugh,
Yep.
and if that's
Me too.
the French reality TV show that is giving me that, then I
Yeah.
will not keep myself
Yeah.
from watching those.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd just like to finish that. Let me ask you
Sure.
some questions about your new branding. You revamped your
Yeah. Yeah.
branding, if I recall it, 3 months into your personal branding. Is that correct?
That's a great question. Why do you remember everything? I can't remember anything like about
Yeah, yeah.
myself, even.
People are gonna tell me that I stalked you like crazy, right? But I just have a good memory,
No. If
guys.
you
Sorry
just
about that.
remembered, yeah. I'm trying to see like if I have a oh, it doesn't show me like when I made these things.
You are seven.
I can't
Is it
remember. I'm
like
only
you're
7 months
7 months?
into it, so it had to have been within, yeah, that many, I suppose, around there. With the pink, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pink banner, etc. That was like
You
a
know
really
what
good revamp.
started the pink was because I had this picture. It's the one that's in my banner, the picture of me in this dress, and I just used that like that dropper on on Canva or whatever. You can find a color in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like you roll the dropper over and then and I was like, oh, and I clicked and it was that pink. And I was like, oh, I really like that. So I just like went with it and that's been
Wow.
the pink ever since. Yeah. And it's just so bright. Someone's like, are you sure you want to use the pink? It might be a little too
Uh,
bright. I'm like, no, I think it's good. I like it. Yeah.
you answered my
Yeah.
next question without even me asking her. So you did that by yourself, right?
Yeah. I've made all of that stuff by myself. Yeah.
Wow, and people were paying thousands of dollars to get that done by other like brand designer per se,
I know. Maybe I
personal
should be a
branding.
brand. Maybe I need to be like a designer. No. But
Good goodness, and they're
yeah.
like, did people ask you who did that for you, right? I assume people
Some
asked you
people
that.
have, and some people are like, "Oh, you did that yourself." It looks like your LinkedIn page looks like you make a lot of money on LinkedIn.
Mm.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, good. That's probably what I like that it looks like that." I was thinking about doing like a carousel that had like all my old banners that I had. I mean, there wasn't that many. There's a few, but like just seeing like what I started with into like what it is now, and I want to change it again. I want to change it again now that I'm like kind of going towards like the personal branding
Your
stuff
newsletter, yeah.
versus content writer. I might
Mm-hmm.
still want to do that. I want to still get jobs, but I think I'm going to change it. I don't know what I'm going to do with
Mm.
it, but it's on my list.
So, yeah, okay. I have another question for you now. This is
Yeah.
for the kind of the audience. So, people who
Ooh.
are listening, I don't know if they're made it to this point, but it
Yeah.
was funny. So I
They
assume
left
they
during the
did.
cheese conversation. I think they left during
One
the cheese
thousand percent. And if
conversation.
people love cheese, then and they were like, "Damn, I love this
Yeah.
conversation."
Right.
And anyway, yeah, if someone is hearing like, yeah, that's kind of an odd question because I got asked this question. I was like, bro, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Anyway, the
Yeah.
question is, why people should follow you? It's
Hmm.
a great question.
You know, I am not for everyone, right? Like I
Mm.
also don't like everyone. Like we don't like
Yeah.
every single person and we don't have to. Like so like
Yes.
I think I just like take the seriousness out of a lot of things. Like I'll still talk about serious things, or I'll talk about like businessy type stuff, but a lot of times I'll make a joke out of it, and it just makes people like take a breath, and it's like, okay, like LinkedIn is not real life, like like all these things, like when it comes down to it, like all this crap doesn't really even matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, our
Mm-hmm.
jobs do, and we need to make money and that kind of thing, but like I'm just trying to like make light of a lot of things, and life is too short. And so I hope that kind of gives the vibe that I hope that's the vibe that I sort of give off too. And I think that's like being relatable too, right? Like just like making people like, it's not that serious, like it's not that hard, it's not that serious. We put way too much pressure on ourselves, like we said, and then I am super random and awkward sometimes, and like just make random comments, and so I think it's funny. Like I think I'm funny, I guess. I don't know, it sounds weird to say, right? Like I think I'm funny, like I have a quick
You
wit,
are.
and so yeah, I don't know, because it's just easy, and it's fun, and that's not a real answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you say when someone asked
Yes.
you? You didn't know?
I didn't know. I had to think about it, and what did you answer actually? Yeah, that's how I found like my kind of sentence. I wanted to challenge your thoughts and
Yeah.
curiosities. So if someone is following me, then he wants to challenge his own thoughts and
Yeah.
curiosities per se. That's
Right.
what I like to do with my content and my newsletters.
Yeah.
So technically, you don't know why you're following me per se.
Yeah.
That's the answer. You just don't know why you
You
follow. You don't
never
know why you're
know.
listening to
You
it,
never
right? You
know.
don't know why you're listening to the podcast, right? But you're
Right.
listening to the
And
podcast. That's
also, I will add, like, and this goes back to the sober stuff and the alcohol free stuff. I've always been super open, like I said. And so a lot of times that makes people feel seen, right? Like,
mm,
we all have these like thoughts and opinions, and we all think that we're the only ones that are thinking this. But we are never
well,
the only ones that are thinking that. And so that's why I tell people, like, if you have an idea, or like if you just are thinking something super random, like there's a good chance if you post it, like someone's gonna say, oh my god, me too, or like I feel the same, or this post makes me feel seen, or your story really resonates with me. Like there's people out there that are like feeling that way. So I think because I'm so open and like able to just say whatever like that, I think that's a reason to follow me, because a lot of times our thoughts will align, and our opinions and our things that are just going on day to day will align. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I feel like there's some psychological stuff involved when
Yeah.
someone is following this brand or whatever. But now
Mm-hmm.
people who are getting aware, so especially content creators, right, right, the marketing behind everything.
You right.
You are aware. So when you are supporting a brand is because per se the story of the brand or the
Yeah.
owner or whatever. I'm not like buying something just because I saw an ad. Like that's
Yeah.
so rare at
Yeah.
this point. Like it's super super
I'm
super
very
super
I'm
rare.
very easily influenced, so I can't say the same, but I get what you're saying.
Uh, I mean, if I seen like a cheese ad, that got me. I mean, there's things that works with me with like
Oh,
marketing wise.
I think these died.
Oh, it's all good.
Hold on. How do I know
I
if they
had this
died?
one
I'm
as
not an
well.
Apple person. These are my husband's.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are you hearing
Can
me
I
in your
change?
ear?
Uh-oh, I can't hear you anymore. Is
Oh
that a
shit.
sign that we have to stop?
Yeah, no, it's all
Oh,
good.
there you are. Okay, I can hear you on the computer. Is that going to mess up the sound or anything?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, then we're good.
But I forgot what I was saying.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
marketing it works for me.
Personal stories and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it's like that's what I was saying. Uh, some things works on me, some others don't. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's cheese, perfume, That would work, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what works with you, but we have our weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty
That
much
too.
it.
Yeah.
For people listening,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, so they can find me on LinkedIn. It's Blair Sharp with the cheese emoji. And then I also have a website. It's blairsharp.com. And then my newsletter is called The Relatable Creator. And you can find that also on my LinkedIn. It's on my profile and my featured section. So subscribe.
I mean, people. Oh yeah. People from who heard the whole conversation know
Yeah.
now how awesome you are, so they can just
Thank
like
you.
jump right into you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Wow,
Yeah, this was
Blair.
fun. This was good. I mean, I had high expectations talking to you. Like I assumed it was going to be a good conversation. I was telling my friend, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to talk. Like it's going to be good, you know? And so, yeah, you exceeded my expectations.
I'm happy I did that, especially for our first conversation.
This conversation, anyways. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And see you next time.
Thank you.